But they're not studied. But they're not studied for the purpose of making the students engage in political careers or political activities.
How is that
But
clear?
how are you going to
public
explain
reading,
that to the people? I was just going to say, people, what do you tell a parent when they call, you talk to a parent? Their student is admitted to this school, and they read the article in the Tribune and say, what's going on with the mission statement? My child is coming here because of that mission statement. Now you're changing it? I don't think they're going to come. Without even seeing that.
Time will tell. I think more will come. And you know what? Yeah. And in the end, this isn't a marketing device. This is what I think. This is, well, doesn't matter. This is what I think best defends what we do.
There's an ad I just saw recently. Would you agree that the term political correctness is a political term?
What does political correctness mean?
Good question, but it was in a Shimer advertisement, and I assume you at least signed off on that. So, is there a way that you can say that publishing those terms and making a statement about those terms is somehow apolitical?
Yeah, also just as a matter of fact preface to that question, could you tell us who made that?
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, the admissions office.
No, the admissions office didn't make it. I tracked this down when I learned of it. 3 or 4 years ago, former President Bill Rice was asked by Heartland, do you have any ads you want to run in our newsletter? And Bill Rice told them, no, we don't. Go ahead and put one together. And so they did, free of charge, for which I'm grateful. Now, let's talk about the term political correctness.
I don't know if we even talk about the term political correctness, but it admits that is a political.
Well, no. Well, that's why I want to talk about the term.
No, I mean, the point is that we can talk about, in China, we can talk about what political correctness means. We can talk about what liberty means. We can talk about all the jargon we throw around and what it means here. And you know what, we can have a really good, nuanced conversation about what it means. But the fact of the matter is, the mission statement and that ad are things that go out into the public sphere of American political discourse. And if we're going to be frank, we need to realize that the meanings you ascribe to those words are not the way in which those words are typically used. And I think there's a very legitimate and reasonable concern about how China is being presented in those mission statements in that ad. And I think what you're telling us now those words mean is not how they're going to be perceived by prospective students and by prospective faculty. And I don't think the casual interpretation of those words is one that most of us here are comfortable being associated with. And I think you owe us explanation for that.
Okay. Good. How I think it will be interpreted is those who think that education can be reduced to politics and who are on the right will think that the mission statement that I put forward, because it doesn't praise American democracy in the way that Hillsdale's mission statement does, or say that education is for the sake of producing critical American citizens, will think it's lukewarm. They won't be happy. Those on the far left, who like the right, think that politics can be reduced, that liberal education can be reduced to politics, won't like the mention of American democracy at all, so they'll be unhappy. And I say when the far left and the far right are unhappy with the mission statement, we're doing something right.
Is that,
like maybe I'm like sunshine and butterflies. Why should we try to make people
I'm not trying to make people unhappy. I hate it when people are unhappy. Yeah.
If you think you're doing something right and you are trying to do that.
And that's also a defined ideological stance that we recognize. You know, saying I want to alienate those on both left and right.
No, I'm not saying I want to alienate those. Look, think about it. When I was at the University of Dallas, I advanced the very same notion of liberal education, for which I was attacked, and I wasn't surprised at that, by conservative Catholics. The University of Dallas is a Catholic institution. I'm not surprised that the Chicago Reader, which I consider a left-wing newspaper, attacked the mission of liberal education as I presented here. I haven't changed. The opponents changed because they look at liberal education through the lens of politics. My whole point in the mission statement is that what makes us higher is that, look, the various ideologies are animated by an unexamined assumption about human nature. The purpose of liberal education is to examine the unexamined assumptions that animate the various ideologies and not to be a captive to any.
How do you see the current mission statement not following that?
As I said, the current mission statement doesn't do a good enough job, in my view, of explaining who we are, what we do, and why it matters. And it incorporates at least three unexamined assumptions that I've already explained. I want the mission statement to be true to what we actually do in the classroom.
But there's a question back here also.
Tom,
there's a question back here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from the sound of it, you've had a limited experience in a Shimer classroom. And
Well,
wouldn't it make more sense to have people who have had 4 years or more in a Shimer classroom somewhat responsible for what the mission of the college is, since they've actually gone through this experience and are the most qualified to come up with what the mission statement might be?
Well, do you want to really go down that road? Because we've got...
Yes.
The reason I ask is because we've got people weighing in on this question on the board, for example, who were at Shimer 50 years ago. That's why I don't want to make it an argument of there are more of us than you, or we were here longer than you were, or we were alums for, because that's not it. What I want this to be, and it has been for the most part, that's why I find this so invigorating, is a discussion. What is the mission of liberal education?
Tom.
But the two are the same.
No, they're not. Tom, I'm not sure.
Hold on a second.
Tom.
Well, wait a second. If there is, in fact, a thoughtful, well-reasoned articulation of what an education of liberty means, do we want to say that somehow that's not us?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I don't want our mission statement to say what liberty means. No, I don't want to say that.